Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Sacred G. Just want to know how you guys are doing. And without further ado, hope you guys are all doing well too. But without further ado, let's get in it. I am going to be reviewing Starfield. Got back into the game again. And again, without further ado, here we go. And just to note, this is my opinion. So let's go. Alright, so first things first, what's the story about? So I'm not going to spoilerize the whole story, I'm just going to break it down. So essentially you were a miner who was mining for an artifact, and when you get the artifact, your character passes the fuck out, and you get visions, before you pass the fuck out, and then you're contracted by Constellation or offered to join Constellation through the character name of Barrett, who you meet in the beginning of the game. And you have to figure out, what do these artifacts mean? What are the visions? And I liked the story, actually, to be honest. I thought it kept its pace. It didn't seem to dive away from what they were trying to do, which is exploring, unknowns, and it stuck with the artifact thing, which I found pretty cool and everything. I personally really did enjoy the story. I thought, a lot of, people you'll hear say that the story sucks. Well, storytelling is very subjective, and I think for the theme the game was trying to go, which is, what are these artifacts? They're unknown. And only a few people are afflicted by these things. It was very, very, it was relevant, I guess you could say, to what the story is trying to tell. So I personally really dig that, and the only thing I would say I have a problem with the story, and a little bit of a spoiler, not too much of a big ass spoiler or anything, but you get a free ship. Other than that, I actually didn't mind it. I thought it was actually pretty cool. So let's get into the other stuff that I enjoyed and didn't enjoy about the game. Accurate is the word I fucked up on. I don't know why, but yeah, I thought the story is very accurate with what it was doing. It didn't seem to stray away and just go into random bullshit land. So yeah, let's carry on. Second thing we're going to talk about is the characters. Now, in these types of games, and most of Bethesda's games, you'll run into a plethora of characters within the main story and outside of the main story. And I have to say, they did a superb job, at least in my opinion, with the NPCs you could talk to, because everybody shares different beliefs on certain things. Some people don't think the same, most people don't think the same way. And I kind of want to talk more on the characters you meet in the main story. So you have 4 companions, and I will name them. So you have Barrett, you have Samco, you also have Sarah Morgan, and you have Andreja. And they're all unique in their own way, and they also have backstories. And one of the things I really liked about the companions or the characters with Constellation is that it seems to me kind of like in Fallout 4, how you do certain things, the companion may or may not approve of them. Same thing happens here, except for me it feels more, realistic, if we could say that. And it feels like you really do build a relationship with those characters. And I honestly, my 2 personal favorites are Sarah and Sam. Andreja's alright. I have not traveled around with Barrett too much. Going to do that eventually. But yeah, he's a cool character too, and same with Andreja. And they all have their backstories, and once you get to know them more, and they open up to you, and it really feels like a bond. It's not like, 3, 4, 5 times you max out the affinity with the companions. It's more of that you kind of build a relationship over the period of time. At least that's how I felt, unless people on PC are using mods to make that faster. There's even perks and stuff to help build affinity a little faster. And the thing I really disliked about the companions is when you go on shooting sprees with them, and it's kind of a mixture of a cool and uncool thing. They stop attacking. They're not evil like that, like your character maybe. Let's say you made a character who shoots up towns or whatever, planets, or inhabited planets. They will not attack, they will leave and disapprove of it, of course, and then they think about it. That's only if you go to New Atlantis. Okay, and then they leave your service, and then they kind of think about it. But if they're on your ship, they can think about it during the duration on your ship. And then it's like, oh, you know, you committed this mass atrocity. We're going to jump right back into your service again. I actually did not care for that aspect. I don't know if they can leave your service forever. I'm pretty sure you can, because they end up viewing you a certain way, so I assume that's the case, because I don't play evil all the time, but for the most part, like, after committing such a serious atrocity, they just come back into your life like nothing happened, and it's like, oh, well, what you did wasn't really that bad. I'm gonna give you a pat on the back. You won't do it again. It doesn't make sense to me, but the characters themselves are very well voice acted too on top of that, and they're very interesting in terms of, like, you know, meeting them and getting them to open up. Like, for an example, well, I'm not going to spoil Sarah Morgan, that's up for you guys to see, so yeah, I really like the characters in this game, even the characters you can meet outside of Constellation in the main story. Even some of the people that don't travel with you in Constellation are pretty cool, like Mateo and Walter Stroud, I believe his name is. It's not Walter Stroud. Yeah, it is. Stroud Eklund. That's the business he owns. So yeah, Walter, Mateo, and Vladimir. Oh god, he got annoying a little bit, but he was cool too. I mean, he was a ex-pirate who ended up joining Constellation, and you know, the characters in Constellation are pretty cool to talk to as well. Also outside of the main story. Like, you get to meet and talk to different people that are outposts in different planets that aren't very bussing with business, they're getting just settled there, and they will even, like, give you opinions on what they think of, like, the outpost they're stationed in. Some people say, oh, it's a little crazy to be stationed out here, I don't like it. And some people do like it and everything like that. So it's pretty cool, actually, in my own opinion. Next thing I want to talk about is the plethora of content in the game. So as you go through the populated planets in the game, you will be bombarded with a bunch of side quests. And a lot of them, you know, kind of range from, okay, to this was pretty fucking good. And there's a lot of them. The planet Neon that you could go to, actually, and pretty much all the populated planets can have, like, a bunch of quests thrown at you that will keep you entertained. And for one, I remember there's a quest before you even land on a planet where these people have been traveling around for, like, 200 years on this generational ship, and you have to go kind of be a diplomat for them, and you are pretty much given the task to either you liquidate the ship, get rid of it entirely through evil methods, or, you know, repair a grav drive for them so they could get out and everything else. And there's just so much to do in this game. You can explore planets, you can craft items, you can do quests. There's a bunch of content in the game, and it was so overwhelming. I remember the first time seeing all that pop up when I first played it. I was like, holy shit, this game has a lot for you to do, a lot more than what I initially thought. And I was just blown away. I was like, holy shit, there's just so much to do in this one planet, and then plus the other planets that you could go to gain quests from. There's just a lot to do in this game. Not going to go too deep into it and spoil it, but yeah, there's a lot of content in the game. Another cool thing I'd like to bring up, and it is the perk system. And this actually surprised the shit out of me, because I did not expect your perks to show up in dialogue. That was amazing to me, and there's a lot of amazing perks you could get. So when you create your character and everything, you kind of get 3 starter perks, and they're there so you can work your way to that whatever perk tree that you actually want to focus on. Or you can add additional perks that, you know, is fitting for your character. But when you do that, some perks actually show up in your dialogue, and I think that's fucking awesome. I did not expect that. I thought they were just perks for the sake of being perks, but no, they actually show up and they can help you out in dialogue. Fucking awesome to me. Some perks don't show up, which, you know, is whatever. It's like, oh, well, that's a shame. However, for the most part, perks end up showing up in your dialogue, so it helps flesh out your character for when you're interacting with the people in the world. Minor thing I do want to talk about is the graphics. I think they look phenomenal. I am playing the game in 4K, and if you want to know the platform, it's Xbox. They look great, actually, to me. I was so blown back by how advanced Bethesda has become from their previous games. I mean, Fallout 4 looked pretty good, but I think Starfield knocks Fallout 4's visuals out of the park. In terms of the way the characters look, and even, like, there's facial muscles that move when the characters talk to you, which I think is fucking awesome, and everything so far that I have witnessed myself seem to be in sharp quality, so I'm not going to talk about that too much, so let's move on. The last thing I want to talk about is exploration, which Bethesda is pretty good at doing. So, a lot of people, you'll hear them say, well, the planets are empty and everything, and I do agree, they are empty, and for those of you that aren't really space enthusiasts and don't want to know anything about planets, and yes, that will be fucking boring. Okay? And that's fine. I personally did not find that boring. I made a character just recently who is an explorer, who goes and travels and scans for life on different planets. And I find that actually really fun, and especially if you have a particular goal for that particular character. Now, I would say maybe if you make a character who isn't meant for exploring planets, then don't do that. Other than that, I personally liked it, and, it's subjective at the end of the day. So let's move on. The shooting mechanics are pretty fucking good. I think Bethesda did a pretty good job implementing shooting mechanics as they did with Fallout 4, and this is, again, yet no exception. I mean, Fallout 4's shooting was pretty good, so Starfield's is even better, in my opinion. And, the combat's pretty damn good, too, I think. The only problem I really have with it is that there's not really different weapon types. There are, like, it's the same weapon, but different, or very differently, and they come with, like, different, perks and, damage bonuses and stuff like that. It's just legendary, but the same weapon type, if that makes sense. It's like the same weapon model. Even better to say that, I guess. I just honestly wish they would have added way more weapons in this game than just reusing the same model but throwing a different color on the weapon to show the variable between a standard Equinox, which is a laser rifle, and a legendary Equinox. I wish there were different types of laser weapons besides the ones that you will see over and over again. But other than that, I actually really do enjoy the shooting. I think it's great. I also think melee is pretty good too. So yeah, let's wrap this up. That's all I gotta say. All in all, Starfield is not a perfect game. That is not what I'm trying to say. I honestly, personally enjoy the shit out of this game, and I'm not gonna recommend it. Okay, that's up for you. If you don't think this game suits your personal needs for video games, then by any means, don't play it. If it's not capturing your interest, then don't play it. Other than that, I personally liked it. It's up to you. I honestly say give it a shot. Other than that, I liked it, so that's me, Sacred G. I know this review's a little off, not really off, but, not really a deep dive. I didn't want to spoil anything, and I didn't want to analyze the game because it's just retelling the entire fucking game, so there you go. This is my Starfield review. I don't slap scores on anything. I personally like the game. Let me know what you guys thought of the game down in the comments below, and if you hated it, fine. Okay, don't insult people that like things that you don't. Okay, that's just something that we all need to work on, myself included. And it is, stupid. And I'm saying that for my sake, because I do watch my videos back. So, anywho, that's me, Sacred G. I hope you guys liked this video and this review, I guess you could say. Other than that, that's me, Sacred G. Peace the fuck out, and let me know what you guys thought of Starfield. See you in the next video. Peace out.